on. Yeah, let's hop into it.
Yeah,
so, hey, welcome to On Target Talks. My name is Garrett Namany with On Target Luxury, and I am so excited to have my guest Jason Euler here on the podcast today. And I have a little intro for Jason. So, Jason Euler is an influential music industry mogul, serial entrepreneur, and incredible human being. He manages artists Echo Nova, Polar Bears, among others. Jason is a partner at Polar Productions, a company that has facilitated events at the Las Vegas Sphere, among other venues. His nonprofit, Teach One to Lead One, is a weekly program that provides mentoring and opportunities to at-risk kids. Real estate investor is among the long list of titles of his success. Welcome to the podcast, Jason.
No, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be on here, and just God, thinking how far we go back. Very full circle moment, and just grateful to be a part of this. And thank you for the kind words there.
Absolutely, man. Like from the moment that we met, I think I remember it was like an after hours thing, and I was DJing and I was kind of getting into it. At the time for a career, and just seeing you like network and like kind of like run things, and it's just like you've grown so much from that time.
Stumbling my way around at that point, I think that was like my benefit early on was like how naive I was to the music industry.
Yeah,
and I just knew I liked it and had a passion for it, but stumbled along the way. I had no idea what I was doing. Just so much trial by fire, but it was a great way to learn for me.
I mean, that's the way to learn is through experience, and you've gotten experience, and you've done incredible things in that time. Even before, when we were off camera, you were telling me about all these awesome ventures that you're getting into.
Yeah. No, it's been great. And I mean, the goal is always, I really found the thing I loved immediately. I was lucky I found it, in my early 20s. And it's really just been building a life and building an ecosystem around everything that has to do with music, and specifically electronic dance music.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your story. Like, for those that don't know Jason Euler, let's hear it, man.
Yeah, I mean, born and raised in Flagstaff, Arizona, like we were just talking about off camera here for a bit. I grew up there. I was third generation at Flagstaff High School.
Wow. And,
like the day I turned 18 and got to graduate and out of there, I moved out of there as quick as I possibly could. I wanted to go see the world. And, I was a baseball player all the way through high school, and was a highly recruited baseball player at that time. And I ended up going out to Irvine my freshman year in California and got to experience that. Got injured toward the end of the season, and kind of hit a life moment, and had to bounce back to junior college. Ended up coming back here to go to Mesa Community College. Won the Junior College World Series, which was a really just fascinating and cool experience. And then I was eventually able to go back to a Division I program at Eastern Illinois. Yeah. And so I finished up my bachelor's there, and I went on to play a quick stint in professional baseball, and as soon as that ended, I moved back to Arizona to be close to the family again. And a month later, I stumbled into Mad Decent Block Party 2016 against my wishes.
Great.
That was kind of the short version of the growth, but yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. What team did you play for professionally?
I was in the Cardinals organization.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that was a great experience, and I played against some really, really talented guys. I always joke I was there because I was the try-hard of the team. Right. Because I played with some guys who just had some insane God-given abilities. Yeah. I was fortunate. I had good coaching and good work ethic, and it carried me pretty far. But baseball really set me up for everything because I came out of college debt-free.
Wow.
And, I wouldn't have been able to start my first business with Octave. Had I come out with student loans.
Yeah, absolutely. And Octave was a production company. Man, they've done incredible things, man. Yeah. Like Splashdown.
Yeah, Splashdown was an event that originated through that 9-year charity event we've done. We've worked with Big Brothers and Big Sisters, Arizona Boys and Girls Club, Teach One to Lead One, which I currently volunteer with. Yeah. St. Jude's Children's Hospital. We did a lot of organizations, always geared toward youth. Yeah. I really always wanted to find a way to work with kids and be able to support programs and initiatives that were empowering kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do you feel like you have one of the best work ethics of anyone that I've probably ever met, honestly? Like, have you always been that way, or was there a moment that it just clicked?
Yeah, I mean, my dad, like, really early on really instilled that in me. Yeah. And again, with baseball, like, I had some natural ability and talent, but I was always playing on teams with guys who were like, born God-given, and what might take one guy 10 reps to figure out, it took me 200.
Right.
The difference is I had to put in 190 extra reps. And,
absolutely.
Sports really instilled that in me because I wanted to play Division I and professional baseball so bad. So by the time I transitioned into my professional life, that work ethic had been built really through sport.
Yeah.
And just my dad really instilling, that in me.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Especially at such a young age.
I was lucky. I mean, my dad was a really hardworking guy, and I was the kid at Little League, even at 9 through 12. Like, I was the first one to show up. I'm staying after in the batting cage. My dad's throwing me batting practice, an extra hour and a half after everyone had already left. And
wow.
My dad would always just sit and say, "Look around, you see anyone else here?" And I'd go, "No, Dad." And he goes, "That's what it takes." And,
wow.
All the success and good moments you face in life are really built during those kind of quiet times when no one's around.
Completely.
And again, I was really lucky to have learned that at a young age, and it just stuck with me.
Yeah. What did your dad do for work?
Yeah, my dad was in construction and contracting. Prior to that, he played baseball in the Kansas City Royals organization, played Division I at Texas Pan American. So, I always had a really great coach in my dad and all that. And he never coached any of my teams. He always said, I never want you to be like, oh, you got that because you were the coach's kid. My dad's like, you're going to earn everything that gets on your way. I mean, he was the same dad. I had to throw away participation trophies.
Really?
Growing up, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, like my Little
sense.
League participation trophy I had to throw away. I got to keep my All-Star plaque when I made All-Stars in Little League, though. And, it was really just how he raised me, and it stuck with.
Yeah, what valuable lessons, especially so early on. And then to have that relationship. So you currently partner with Relentless Beats. Can you tell? Yeah. So for people that don't know what Relentless Beats, they're one of the biggest production companies, if not the biggest production company.
Yeah, I think right now, so I'm full time at Relentless Beats. I got acquired from Octave, my former production company, in 2018. So it'll be 7 years in February. I've been there since that transition, which has just been crazy to see that time fly. But we're the largest independent promoter in the U.S. and just independent meaning we're not.
I didn't realize that in the U.S.
Yeah, I mean
that's huge because Ticketmaster
independently, it's not owned by Live Nation and AEG, whereas Insomniac's owned by Live Nation. Disco Donnie, did a deal on a big corporate level. We're still kind of this family-run, family-owned business in a lot of ways.
That's massive.
Yeah, so it's been crazy to even watch it grow in the 7 years I've been here.
Yeah.
We just threw probably the biggest event of our career in New York with John Summit for his first festival with experts only, which crazy full circle moment because his manager Parker's my old roommate.
Really?
Yeah. So back from when I was 24, 25, we were living together, kind of fresh out of college.
Wow.
Stumbling and he was trying to figure out his way in the music industry, and so was I at that time. So to see us come to a moment where his artist is performing the biggest festival of his career, and my company's producing one of the biggest festivals of our career in New York City, of all places. Really full circle moment, and just really fulfilling and cool to see.
That's incredible. How big was the festival?
We did about 50,000 people over the course of 2 days, 3 stages. It was at Randall's Island Park, which is right off there next to Manhattan, and where they used to do Electric Zoo Festival.
Yeah, I remember Electric Zoo.
A long-running festival out in New York that ended a couple years ago.
Yeah. Wow, that's a huge feat and definitely a full circle moment, especially like you two being roommates. Yeah. What years were you guys roommates?
Would have been 2017 and 2018.
Okay.
That time he was still working with Maya Nightclub here in Scottsdale, and he was working with Steve Levine Entertainment at the time.
Yeah.
I was working full time at DoorDash on the tech side, selling the DoorDash technology.
Yeah.
And then I was building Octave, the promotion and production company, really on the side at night and on the weekends. And obviously I did your headline show.
Yeah.
There toward the end, I think that was actually one of the last shows I was part of producing, like second or third to last show, before I got acquired at Relentless.
What an incredible run, man.
Yeah.
When did you go fully into the music industry?
I got done with baseball in August of 2016, and then I went to Mad Decent Block Party in September 2016.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go. My friends were like, "You got to check us out." I'm like, I was going to country concerts at the time.
Yeah.
Like, electronic music's not for me, guys. Like, not my speed. And my friends finally suckered me into going. And of course, I get there within like 20 minutes. I ditch all my friends. I'm running around talking to strangers, having the best time of my life. And I really learned more about the electronic dance culture. And like I just met some great people that night that just left me feeling so uplifted.
Yeah.
And that night, my phone ended up dying during that time. And by the time I got it charged and turned back on, I call my friends. I'm like, yo, where you guys at? I'm ready to leave. And they're like, dude, we thought you hated it. We thought you left like 2 hours ago.
No kidding.
It was quite the contrary. I was running around having the time of my life. So, now I'm stranded, 45 minutes from home in Rawhide.
Oh,
and,
man.
I paid like $150 to get home in an Uber that night. And at 23 years old, barely just starting my first professional career, like was more than I paid for the ticket.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So then Global Dance happened November 2016. And
Yes.
I bought
Iconic.
my ticket. Yeah, I bought my ticket last minute. I'm like, crap. What about transportation? How am I going to do? I'm not doing the Uber.
Yeah.
So I called an old party bus contact from college. I got a bus, and I thought I'd maybe get 30 people on this 60 passenger bus.
Yeah.
I ended up having 75 people on the bus. The pregame was in my backyard. Was nuts, and I only budgeted thinking I'd get 30 people. So I ended up making money off it, but I didn't feel like good about making money off my friends for it. And I also didn't want to Venmo everyone back because what a pain in the ass.
Oh, completely.
So I donated it to Phoenix Children's Hospital, and I just shared the contact from Phoenix Children's and the receipt. I'm like, here's the lady, give her a call if anyone has an issue with it. And obviously a bunch of ravers and dance music lovers, everyone was super cool with it.
Yeah.
And then I'll never forget the last person that walked off that bus that night after we got back just goes, what's the plan for Decadence? And that was the same night I fell in love with electronic music. Like that night really solidified it for me.
Wow.
And, I was walking out of Rawhide going like, damn, people get paid to do this. Like how could I do this for a living? It sounds way better than my corporate job.
Oh, completely.
Yeah. And then, I started a company at 3 a.m. After Global Dance, after a few adult beverages. It was feeling good. And, the next day I made social media accounts. A week later, my buddy Pete made me a logo, and, the rest was history.
And just hit it off, man.
Yeah.
And just hit it off.
I ran party buses for a whole year, just party buses.
I remember that, and it was impressive. Like, it was like a whole thing. Like, it wasn't just like travel A to B. Like, it was like...
Oh, we had a pregame, and it was an experience, and then you would see similar people coming on. And, like, my favorite thing ever about those was I would always see the people that would come solo dolo to the event, and then by the time they're on the way back home on the party bus, someone's fam adopted them at the festival, and they have like a whole new group of friends, and it just kind of became this recurring community, and more people joined, and it was just like it was the party bus fam. And then obviously it solved a really good need where $20 round trip, and alcohol's included on the bus, and you get to meet all these people, and you're not sitting around waiting for an Uber in the cold. It worked out, and it scaled quickly.
So how would you say the landscape looks for Arizona and like the music industry out here? Like, so for those that don't know, I used to be in the music industry as an artist, and then I transitioned into real estate. And so I have a general idea, but it's been some time since I've actually like jumped in. So like give like kind of like the 411 to everyone.
Arizona's really such an anomaly of a market. We're not like viewed as like this New York or LA or Chicago or Miami where dance music's really prevalent. They're massive cities, and there's just tons of events going on all the time. Obviously we're less people per capita, but like the amount of events we're producing is just insane. Like I think right now Relentless alone will produce probably 330 events just across the state, across Flagstaff, Phoenix, and Tucson. And then not to mention there's so many other, local promoters and groups still participating in the scene. And there's just, there is dance music every weekend, any genre you want, somewhere, some form or fashion. So it's really been just cool to see the community here, and it's such a staple here because the culture's really been built so well around it.
That's one thing that really surprised me is, I mean, essentially we're kind of in a bubble of sorts, and I feel like dance music here is exceptionally popular. Like when you see like the massive festivals coming out here, it is just jam packed. Like there are so many people out here.
And it's great, and just the consumption's there. And then I think obviously you're seeing it in the real estate world where how many new residents are coming to Phoenix a day, like right now. Like we're one of the fastest growing metropolitans, in the United States.
Completely.
And, as that grows, the demand for entertainment is always going to be there.
Completely.
And, I always think the good marker is I look at Coachella. Coachella is a big multi-genre music festival and just probably one of the most iconic in that front.
Absolutely.
65% of the lineup this year is dance music.
That's crazy.
And, you look at that and it's just like, it really shows like the sustainability of electronic dance right now. And, it makes sense. Like, we're in the 21st century. Of course, we're making music on our computers, just like you were making when you were a producer. And tapping in. And, you can take any genre and make it electronic dance music.
Yeah.
So I just, it's like I've even showed my mom, like, old remixes from, like, the 60s and 70s of, like, songs or, like, the 80s. I'm like, Mom, check this remix out. And she's like, oh, my God, you kids are listening to that?
Right.
Kind of down that lane. So, I think that's why it's here to stay, and I don't think it's going anywhere.
And I think the beauty about dance music is that it is so accessible, because you can have like very like avant-garde like dubstep where it's just like it is just noise 100%. But then you can have like as I've aged and my blood pressure has dropped,
we're both heading that direction right now.
Like house music, like very soft house music. Like there is a huge span of electronic dance music, and I think that's the cool thing is that like you can have that span of someone who has a ton of energy, low energy, that kind of thing. Yeah,
I think obviously there's so many subgenres, and they really cater to all these different demographics, and it's like it's cool you see in the dubstep community like there's so many metalheads that come from the metal scene that are now into electronic and dubstep, and then like house having so much play and influence from the disco days and communities like that. And for me, it's as I've progressed now, I'm heading into my early 30s. I got college interns working with me at Relentless, and I'm always like, what are you guys into?
Exactly.
Who are the artists you like? And so it's interesting to see like the next generation coming up and like what sounds out of electronic are like resonating with them. And that's been really cool to see.
What are you seeing the kids listen to these days?
I mean, it's John Summit, it's Dom Dalla, it's Fisher, it's Chris Lake, Chris Stussy. I mean, it's weird. 5 years ago, if you would have said, hey, are any of these kids into house music? I just said, no college kids into house music.
No, not at all.
They want festival trap and the hip-hop lyrics and hardcore dubstep to party. But, like, these kids have really embraced the house genre, and it really is due in part to artists like Summit and Dom Dalla that have really reinvigorated this energy and brought this, like, level of fun to it. Then you look at the GOATs like Chris Lake, where he's still just ripping it and doing it. And
he's been doing it for a minute. He is so great. I love Chris Lake.
He's influenced the sound so much for like even the newer house artists that are really popping and having their moment. Like he's a guy. Claude Von Stroke was just such a staple in that space. So it's cool to see house music really have its time and lane.
Have you been following like the new Skrillex revival at all?
Of course, yeah.
It's so housey, and I love his new stuff. It is. I'm so happy.
It's so different and just so uncomparable. And he's always I don't know what he's done, but he's always had an edge.
Always.
Everything sound. He's always every single time like he's pushed boundaries and delivered.
Completely. I even like the new. Like I just watched his Ultra set, and it is. For those that don't know, like his music was just fast, nonstop. But like now it's like muted and it's still heavy. It is incredible. Like if you can listen to his new stuff, definitely do it.
Yeah.
So what are you listening to these days?
I mean, I'm all over the map. Like, early on, like I came in Mad Decent Block Party, my first festival. Like Millennium was the second opener slot on that. Which
you're kidding?
Yeah, he played like 6 or 7 o'clock, which is
my gosh,
crazy to think about seeing his career. But like it was R.L. Grime, Flosstradamus, DJ Snake, and obviously Diplo. And at that time,
that's a hell of a lineup.
It was great, yeah. And I mean, at that time, like festival trap was like the thing to kind of like 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
And, I kind of was into that at first, and that's really what got me hooked. And then that kind of led into the bass scene and dubstep and things like that. And then, the older and older I get and the less my energy, energy I have, I'm like, oh, these house music people might be onto something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And for me, as I got older, like house to me is like so social because like, you'll see people in the crowd and like, they're not always facing the DJ. They're kind of like standing in these circles and kind of talking to each other and hanging out. Whereas like, dubstep and like trap, like they are just locked in start to finish. And I just don't have the energy. And for me, I love the social aspect of like house music and kind of that culture around it.
Yeah, it definitely is kind of like you can like relax, but when it's like that trap dubstep, like you're just like in it. It's like an 11 out of 10.
Headbanging is a young kid sport, as I always say now.
Yeah.
And I don't have the energy. There's a couple times there's certain stuff that'll come on, and I'm still keeping up to date. I love like Grizz and kind of that more funky wubby bass music now, and seeing him add the live instrumentation and stuff like that. So that type of bass I'm more into now than like say the Excision stuff, where Excision's still the GOAT and
sudden death.
It's just a lot for me nowadays.
It is a lot,
but
man.
I love to book it and create it because there's such a demand for it, especially in Arizona.
There's a huge scene,
very bass heavy scene.
Yeah,
for sure.
No, without a doubt. So I kind of want to segue a little bit to teach one to lead one.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Tell me about that.
Yeah. I've been with the program now 5 years or so. And, for me, like mentorship has always been such a key component to my growth, whether it be in the music industry, in baseball, and just general life. And I've been really fortunate to have had really great mentors.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned, everything I always did with all the nonprofit donations and work around like Octave in the past was always geared toward the youth.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I want to get in there hands on and work with these kids and see what happens. So, Teach One to Lead One's a great program. There's chapters all over the world, obviously mostly in the United States. But I work with a class of 20 at-risk youth kids every Thursday. Yeah, and I mean these kids come from homes of abuse, homes of addiction, really kind of just rough upbringings. There's certain kids in there that are just struggling in school and struggling to kind of figure out where they fit in the world. And the program's really designed, what spoke to me is it's designed around the intangibles that they don't really teach you in school.
Yeah.
Like 1 week where like the lesson is on honor, the next weekend the lesson's on integrity, the weekend after that the lesson's on compassion. And we'll kind of workshop through these like curriculums and stuff based around these topics with the kids. But it's really just to get the kids talking and to open up and kind of share things they're going through. And you don't change the world, you create change through the world.
Yeah.
And you do that by influencing the next generation to come on and kind of do something. It's like you'll go meet someone 40, 50 years old, their political views are set, their morality's set, the way they view the world is set. Kids, man, their mind's malleable. It's like clay, and you have a chance to try to mold really positive humans. And I think that's how we make positive impact in the world. So the program for me was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Once I really dove into it.
So if any viewer or listener wants to get involved, where can they go to get involved?
If you're in Arizona, teachonetoleadone.org /Maricopa. Obviously focusing in the Maricopa County, but just teachonetoleadone.org. Again, they have chapters all over the United States. They're always looking for more well-rounded mentors. And, it's cool, man. Like I'll get kids, they'll write me cards at the end of the semester, and I still have them hanging on my bulletin board in my office. And, the funny thing is like I'm there for the kids, and I feel like I'm doing a lot of good there.
Yeah.
Every morning when I walk out of there, I feel like I'm walking on clouds. It just puts you in the best feeling and state. Just kind of having that impact. And it's really been addicting on that front for me.
Yeah, having everything, there's just so much negativity in the world. There's not people that are willing to take the time out of their lives in order to like uplift the next generation. That's our future right there.
Absolutely. And I think it's crazy. I mean, I just watch people on social media all day where they'll go off, this is wrong with the world, this is wrong with the world, or I can't stand this, or I can't believe we voted for this. And I just look at it and go like, well, what are you doing in your community to try to make it a little better place? Like, if everyone just goes and participates in their communities and is pushing out the good morals and beliefs that they have, that they want to see in the world, and influencing that, like, you're probably going to create more good that way than going on a social media rant. So
solution-based thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it is a powerful mind thing.
Yeah, and it's a ripple effect. I've probably worked with, over the last 5 years, I've probably worked with 300 plus students over the years.
Wow.
With different programs and stuff. And, who knows? Like, if one kid goes out of that program and goes on to create good change or create something lasting in life, from there, like, that's how change happens. It's a ripple effect.
Yeah. So if we have any entrepreneurs or any business owners that are currently watching this, what kind of advice would you give them? What kind of things would you be like, hey, this is like good word of wisdom? What would you say? Because you've been in a lot of different buckets.
Yeah, I've been over a lot of different businesses, and I mean, it just comes down to resilience. Like, the only truly way you fail at anything is if you quit, and that is it. And it's just being able to get punched in the mouth, out of that time, and like get up with a smile and get right back to it. There's just no substitute for that resilience, because you're going to have everything go wrong. You're going to want to quit multiple times. Like, I can't tell you how many times I thought about quitting or giving up. And, those thoughts just kind of seep into your head. And, you have to realize it's just a thought, and, not accepting the limiting beliefs you impose upon yourself.
Yeah.
Which, anytime you want to quit or think, hey, it's too hard, or I can't do this, like, you're just putting a limiting belief in your head. It's not true.
Yeah.
It's just your brain trying to trick you,
Yeah, that's one thing I've definitely noticed with real estate is, no matter how many times you mess up or do things wrong, like, it's just learning that, never experiencing that again, and then just moving on.
Well, it's like if I told you in real estate, like, hey, you need to go have 10 deals fall through, and then, hey, the 11th one, you're going to close $1 million property.
Exactly.
How fast would you want to go work through those 10 deals?
100%.
To get to that. And like, that's really it, is like, the problem is people have become so discouraged with the word no, instead of being encouraged by it, where I'm one no closer to a yes. And the second you shift that paradigm in your life, I think the chessboard really opens up, because like, you don't know when your breakthrough is going to come. It might be 10, it might be 20, it might be 30 times. But if you don't see it through, or you get discouraged by no and give up, you never hit your breakthrough.
Have you ever read the book Go for No?
I haven't, but I'm familiar with
it. For those that are watching and listening, essentially it's a book saying that instead of going for yeses in sales, go for no's. So that way, no is not a bad thing. It's more of like a not right now. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. And I mean, it happened to me. Like, I got rejected by colleges trying to get on for baseball teams, the music industry. I had artists tell me they didn't want to play my shows. I got blocked on shows. I had people who didn't want to partner with me, or I had really big deals fall through. And then even when I was in sales at DoorDash, or things like that, I'd be hung up on 30 times a day, and I'd still have to pick up 30, 40 times a day. I got to pick it up and go again.
Exactly. Exactly. What would you say your biggest influences and inspirations are at this moment?
I think one of the most impactful things for me early on, it's the third most watched TED Talk in the world, The Power of Why with Simon Sinek. And, he really just talks about really the best businesses in the world and the best leaders. They all lead from a place of internal of what's their why, what's it impacting, who's it helping, or what are you creating for others beyond yourself. So many people in their world get caught up in the what they do. You can ask any business and they'll be able to tell you what they do. Oh, we have the best marketing, or we have the best lead list, or best clientele, or the best proven strategies. But by the time you ask someone why their business exists or what they're doing, a lot of people will draw a blank. And I think early on in sticking with that is really getting connected to why I do things and what it is, like working with Teach One to Lead One, that why of being able to create a ripple effect and try to mold good humans to come out into the world,
So what is your why?
Absolutely. My why is to leave a legacy and leave an impact, and to try to leave the world a better place than when I found it. And again, I think I've focus so much on creating youth-based initiatives because I think that's the most effective way for me to leave that legacy and live out that why. In that part, the why for me beyond my companies is to empower people around me. My management company is called Empowered Management for a reason. Like, I want to see Ekanova's dreams come true. I want to see Carrie Keller's dreams come true. I want to see the Polar Bear guys. Like, I want to see their dreams come true. And I think it ultimately ties back to this quote I found, and why my logo is a mountain with the company is, I helped a man climb to the top of a mountain, and I too found myself at the top. And I
love that. That's fabulous.
That always resonated with me.
Wow.
I've really found my why of helping other people climb to the top of their mountains.
Yeah.
And the more people I can help get to that, I'm going to see some pretty damn good views myself.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like that's something that I've actually experienced. I've never thought about it until you mentioned, all the people that I've helped and all the interesting stories and relationships of people that I've been able to help them achieve their dreams and everything. Yeah. That's a really cool life situation,
Yeah.
honestly.
I think the best thing, and you can look to any religion, moral teaching, or anything, it's about getting lost in the service of others at the end of the day. And I think like anyone who can truly do that, like they're going to find the most happiness and fulfillment within their own lives.
Yeah.
You know, we get so trapped in our own lives, and like, you know, I always think like whenever I was hitting a tough time in life, I would try to go help someone else. And like, you know, immediately when you go do that, you're going to feel better. You know,
Yes.
there's no time I've ever left helping someone and gone, man, what a waste of time. I can't believe I did that, you know, or whatever. Like,
Oh my gosh.
You know?
Man, can I tell you a story real quick?
I would love to, please.
Man, so I had like a rough day. This is the most wild thing that has probably ever happened to me.
Yeah.
But I ended up going to a Fry's in a odd part of town,
Yeah.
and I saw a gentleman with a sign that said, you know, just out of prison, you know, hungry, you know, that kind of thing. And I was like, you know, I've been really blessed lately, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna, you know, grab him a couple of protein bars,
Yeah.
some cashews and everything like that, some water and stuff.
Absolutely.
So I go and I drive by and I park my car and I come out, and it's like late at night. And
Yeah.
I go over to him. He has his head in his hands and just kind of whatever. And so I go over to him and I'm like, hey, like I got you some protein bars, cashews, and
Yeah.
everything like that. And he goes, I wish you would have given me a gift card. Like, and then I could have gotten something that I wanted.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, I'm sorry. So he didn't
Sorry.
even take anything. So I just like awkwardly went back in my vehicle and left. And I was just so taken aback. I was like,
that's
what
crazy.
just happened?
Because I'm usually the same way. I'm going to go get you food or get you something.
100%, man.
Yeah.
I to this day I have no idea what to make of that situation. So
I couldn't
it's just
tell you.
like,
And everyone's in their own world and fighting their
Yeah.
own battles and needs their own thing. And, you know, even when you do show grace and compassion, it's not always received.
yeah,
But it doesn't mean we as humans should stop giving it. And so
Exactly.
It's awesome, you know, and like I'm sure that won't be the last time you go and do an act of kindness.
Exactly.
Like that. And, you know, like I said, you got one no there, but you know, the next person, you know, you might watch them break down and really make their day.
completely. And he's not obligated to take anything
No,
I'm giving him
absolutely not,
either.
yeah.
So I was just kind of like, I've never had that happen where
that's
where I've
that's
like been like, hey,
fascinating.
I'm going to try to do a nice thing. And this guy's like, hey, like,
Yeah.
this isn't whatever.
I've had plenty of things where I've tried to go and I've tried to help, and sometimes it's just, you know, it's not the right time or right place.
Yeah.
Or, you know, again, everyone's got a battle they're fighting, and I think just having that everlasting empathy of understanding
Completely.
that people are going through stuff you don't see all the time.
Exactly.
And it's so funny how in our heads we get of like other people's opinions or what do they think of me or doing this. And like the truth is they're not. They are
Not at all.
They are not thinking about you.
Oh
at
my
all.
gosh.
Yeah, they're so lost in their own world. I think the second like humans like people start to accept that, it's like such a freeing feeling.
Completely. Are you into watches at all?
A little bit.
Okay.
I wish I was more of a
Man,
watch connoisseur.
I've
but-
gotten into watches,
Okay.
and there's a huge thing of like, oh, like if I buy this, someone's gonna think this, think
Yeah.
whatever. But like at the end of the day, and those very experienced watch enthusiasts are like,
Yeah.
no one cares
No one
what
cares.
you're wearing.
They're too busy looking at what their own watch. they're wearing, or,
Exactly.
like,
It's
you know.
such a paradigm shift, you know.
It is. Like I said, it's very freeing to say the least.
It really is, because then you're able to maneuver however you want, you know.
Has that helped you in your career in any ways? Kind of like knowing, like, hey, these people aren't watching me, or I'm not getting judged as hard as I am. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, putting yourself on stage as an artist and a DJ, and putting your art out in front of people, like, you leave a lot of open room for things like that. And that's I always think that's such a courageous thing to put your art
Yeah.
out in the world. And you did that for a very long time.
Yeah, absolutely. Like even with like on target luxury, like obviously guns are a very divisive situation.
yeah.
So, and it's been something that I've been into for a long time, but I found that after I like kind of like posted a video being like, hey, I like guns, like you know, that's just kind of how
That's
it
who
is.
I am.
I felt so free, and I was like, oh, I did something really cool at
Yeah.
a match. I can post this.
Yep.
And it felt being authentic and feeling that freedom of being like, I don't care what other people think. And I've lost clients because they don't like it, and that's totally fine, and I respect
Just
that and
gotta
understand
respect their own, to each
Exactly.
their own, you know?
Exactly. No, and especially people that are going out like on festivals in front of tens of thousands of people,
yeah.
you know, trying new tracks.
That's,
And
yeah, I watch my artists do it all the
Oh my
time.
gosh.
And they'll go, and you know, sometimes it hits, and sometimes it doesn't.
sometimes it does.
I think that's the beauty of art or a passion like shooting guns or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's all subjective at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. You know, there's 8 billion people on the planet. No two are the same.
No two are the same. And you'll find the people that celebrate you.
Yeah.
You know, if you are authentic,
exactly,
go where you're celebrated.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, I always say, you know, people go where they feel welcomed, and they stay where they feel valued. So same.
Wait,
feeling.
can we repeat that for the people? That was yeah. What was that?
People go where they feel welcomed, and they stay where they feel valued or celebrated. In your case, which is the exact same thing, in my opinion.
I love that.
Yeah.
That is fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's another quote that people don't remember what you did for them, but they remember how you feel.
How you made them feel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I always say that with the festival world, you know, I'm like, you're not always going to remember the DJ you saw or what set you were at, but like you'll remember the moments hanging around the festival with your friends.
Exactly.
You know, the people you were at, and the relationships you made. And I mean, I just look back to all the relationships I've made through music over the years with, you know, this even being one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we haven't seen each other.
It's been a minute.
I can't remember the last time we've seen each other, honestly. We've kept in contact on social media and everything.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So, yeah, no, without a doubt. So another thing that we talked about off camera was like the idea of like a third place.
Yeah.
So like having like festivals and other kinds of places.
Yeah, I think it's something the world needs more. Like, I mean, you're seeing more and more people talk about like being isolated or, you know, this like loneliness epidemic, they're calling it. And it's like, you know, I think back in the day, like, you know, like everyone went to, you know, you got your work, which you're going to, and then your home, which are your two places. But, you know, like back in the day, you were going to the country club or you go to the gun range or, you know, you go to the music studio or, you know, just having a third place for community built around similar interests and passions to kind of get out or, you know, some people go play softball during the weeks or whatever it might be. I just think it's like one of the most important things as we get so technologically reliant and we're on our tech so much. Have those places where we can go, get in person, have, you know, one-on-one conversations in person because, I mean, everything's done through Zoom and Google Meets these days. And and I think that's going to be a huge industry in the future is just in-person experiences.
No kidding.
Especially as AI evolves and everything else. Like, I just think it's going to be so profoundly important for people to have these places. Yeah.
What kind of places do you think that these will look like?
I think it'll be anything. Again, it's just going to be interesting. I think the one thing coming with AI, you know what, it's going to replace a ton of jobs. Yeah. And, you know, out of that, I think we're going to see more and more people lean into like arts and creating and things like that, which, you know, instead of being this just like cog in the wheel or machine at your job, like, you know, more people are going to have more free time than they probably know what to do with down the road. You know, once these Tesla robots are in folding your laundry, taking the trash out for you, and you know, walking the dog.
Sign me up.
Yeah, exactly. You know, people are going to have so much more time, and I think they're going to lean into creating because, like, you know, humans are meant to create. We've created things for thousands and thousands of years. You know, and that's why we've advanced technology to where the place is at. And I think we're going to see this really big renaissance in the arts during this time. And for me, it's really exciting working around the music industry. And you know, it's kind of a catch-22 because, you know, AI music is also getting introduced as well. Yeah. But AI can't create a personal story behind the music of hardship and trial and emotion. No matter how good the art itself is, it doesn't have a story to go behind it. Yeah. So, you know, I always tell artists coming up right now, I'm like, hey, you got to make good music. Don't get me wrong. But AI is coming, and it's going to make music better than a lot of you or most of you. What's going to really matter is your story, emotion, authenticity that you invoke into others and fans, and that's what's going to separate the next generation of artists, in my opinion.
Exactly, and I you know, just to kind of mirror that, like even with real estate, you know, there's a lot of questions about AI and everything. Sure. But like at the end of the day, it's about that personal connection. Like it is literally a relationship business.
Absolutely, no one's going to buy from you if they don't trust you.
Exactly,
and that's the biggest thing. And it's, you know, it's building that relationship with art. You know, I've gone through buying homes and things like that as well too, and
investment properties.
Absolutely, and I if I don't have a good sense of the person, like I have to know you're going to have my back and lead me down the right path. So that trust is such a big factor, and that personal emotional connection is important.
Exactly, and you also see the error rate in AI right now. Like I even asked, I just completed a 3-day fast, and
really? I just came off 48 hours.
Oh, no kidding.
This morning.
Fasting's great, man.
It's great.
You feel you're like geared up and ready to go.
Yeah, I just had my first meal about 2 hours.
Okay, what'd you have?
Chicken teriyaki bowl.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Something easy and light. I need to do the 72 hour and get all the way there. I got a big week ahead, and I needed to do something to kind of reset the system this week.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you definitely need to be strategic about it, because then you don't feel great.
No, that last day is not fun to be around people.
No, not at all. And but it's worth it, man. Like that third day, it feels great.
Yeah, the benefits are there, and a lot of the science behind it, and you can tell anyone's gone through it, like day 2, the mental clarity and energy you feel.
Oh yeah.
Into it, and it makes a big difference.
It really does. So anyone interested in doing fasts, I highly recommend it. I could not recommend it enough.
As well.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are some things that you want to get accomplished? Like, what are some goals that you're like seeking after right now?
Kind of going back to the mountain logo of the company. I'm always trying to climb my mountains too, as well. But the biggest thing is I really want to see all my artists go on to just they were already touring, we're playing a ton of shows. We've played the EDCs, the Bonnaroos of the world. I just want to continue to see them go on and hit their goals and dreams. A big goal down the road is I really want to open up my own school one day. And
really?
It's kind of why I'm leaning into the education side of it now and doing the mentorship there. But, when I came out of school, I realized and I went to start my first business. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't know how to file an LLC. I didn't know how to do my write-offs, my taxes. I didn't know how to scale, how to build a marketing strategy. And I just realized kind of like how let down I was by the education system. I don't know how to do my taxes or start an LLC, but thank God I can find the hypotenuse of a triangle,
right?
Which I haven't used.
Thank God.
Yeah, exactly. Which I haven't used in for a while. No hit on that, but I really want to start a school that has extracurriculars that mentor kids around entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And really changing the question of what do you want to be when you're older to what are you passionate about and how do you build a career around that?
Yeah.
Because the biggest difference that ever made in my life was I found out what I was passionate about and I built a career, a lifestyle, and all my businesses around the exact thing I'm passionate about. And I think for a kid, that's the most valuable thing you can possibly give to them.
Completely.
Is allowing them to live a life around something they're passionate about.
Yes.
So they're not just suckered into something that, they're going to be miserable doing for 40 years of their life, retire when they're 60 and look back going, what did I really accomplish?
Exactly. Just checking off, like punching in, punching out, just selling your time.
Yeah, exactly.
Than,
so the school would be really built around entrepreneurial activities. And then I think for like a capstone project for the last year, I want to have the kids form groups, start businesses, prove sales, and then whoever the board of directors are on the school, have them invest into the best ideas of those kids and actually go on to have them fully start businesses and then use a portion of the profits from those businesses to fund secondary education from the school so kids aren't winding up in college debt and things like that.
Yeah.
I think it's a unique way to solve some debt crisis and things like that and empower kids to do things they're passionate about.
Yeah, and especially doing the things that, they're passionate about, because I think a lot about like my college experience and like what I doing real estate, like it night and day difference from a 4-year degree. And it's
absolutely.
like, man, I took Greek mythology for my social work degree. Like
exactly.
I don't know why in the world was I in that classroom.
There's cool things to learn, and college, it pushes critical thinking and there's good social aspects of it, but I think that's the other interesting thing with AI coming in too, is all these education things are going to be really tailored to students now too. But I think the big thing that needs to come back is mentorship. Back in the day, if you wanted to be a blacksmith, what'd you do? You tutored under the blacksmith. And I think mentorship is going to have a very large resurgence again soon for specialization.
I completely agree.
Coming up. So, I really want to be at the forefront of that. But, that's really the life goal, is really building that school, because, then long after I'm gone, it's leaving a legacy and continuing to do an impact, which ties back to my why.
I love that. And I think that's honestly a great place to end it, man.
Yeah.
Like, thank you so much for coming on to On Target Talks, man. Like, you are such a ball of energy. You got so many things going on, and I love having conversations with you.
I love it, man. You've always had such a great appreciation and passion for life, whether it's music or diving into this. And I've watched you run fearlessly and at things you want to do, and I love seeing you leaning into your authenticity around the things you enjoy. So thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure to be
absolutely. Where can they find you if they're looking to get connected with you?
Yeah, just jasoneuler.ventures online. You'll see pretty much every project, business, and social media outlet I have from there. So jasoneuler.ventures.
Excellent. Well, sounds good. Well, if you're looking to buy or sell real estate in Arizona, feel free to contact On Target Luxury at, you can text me, 616-402-5216. We'll see you at the next podcast.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you. Dude, thank you so much, man.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure.
Man, it is so good.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love the multitasking. I could have done that conversation without the mics.